today I thought that I would show you how I purge through tons of magazines to collect images and words and phrases to use in your journals. I have collected an embarrassing amount of magazines. Some of them are ones that I just loved and I never wanted to, throw them away or anything that I've had since before I started doing collage. Like I have a couple years worth of these Mary Jane Farm magazines. This is from July 2010. It's time to go through them and get rid of them. I'm tired of having them stacked up, taking up. This is all magazines. I'm tired of these taking up space in my art area. All these over here, this tall stack right here, those are all Somerset magazines, and I haven't decided what to do with these. I just don't know. So they are all stacked up over here, but these are all just, all these right here are the Mary Jane Farms. I've got a bunch of Martha Stewart living magazines. My kids at their school for the fundraiser, they have magazine sales, so I always end up every year getting a magazine subscription to support the school. Even if I don't really need it, I get it anyway. So I had like a bunch of Cooking Light magazines, I had a bunch of Food and Wine magazines, and it's stacking up and they need to go. So what I do, and what I did the last time that I did this that worked really well for me, is I just kind of have this system where I go through them. I have about, well, I didn't really count it out before I thought about it. I have like 3 steps that I go through to break it up into just bits so that it makes it a little bit less overwhelming. Because I love magazine images. I love collecting them. It's like scrapbook paper, it's like fabric, when you see something and you love it, then you can't help but say, oh, I know I'm going to use that in my journal. I'm totally like that, and I've got drawers over here that are full of images to prove it, and, more drawers full of clipped out words and phrases. But I know that there's so much stuff in these that I can probably use that it's silly and it's hard for me to just throw them away without going through it. So I try to go through it as quickly as I can. I try to touch the pages as few times as I can, and just kind of try to get what I know, get what I really, really like, what really just stands out to me, what really catches my eye, colors, the words, the text, just things like that. So let's see. So in my stack here, I've got some Mary Jane Farms. These are just some of the magazines that I have piled up. I've got a couple of the Daphne's Diary. This was a free wedding magazine from a local store. There's lots of free places where you can pick up free magazines. At your grocery store. This one was in the floral department. This at our downtown, and a lot of the stores, they have the local magazines, and this one is Edible Omaha. Let's see, I've got Oprah. I like Oprah magazines for words and phrases. Any self-help type book or health-related magazine, they have great words and phrases to use in your journals. If you want, phrases like that to really express things and express how you're feeling, and the way that I like to use them in, especially in my red moleskin here. So let's see, I've got some Real Simple. Those are all from the magazine sales, so I have quite a few of those. This is a travel book that I picked up when we went to Colorado a couple years ago. It has a lot of beautiful images in it. I have coupon books from Whole Foods, lots of great words to use in these. You can usually find I got this in the mail the other day. It's for a fitness center. This has tons of great phrases to use in it. And I also like the images because I am really focusing on my health and my lifestyle and making positive changes. And so I know that a lot of these images and the phrases will work great. And that's actually why I've kind of been away for a while. I've spent this whole past week and a half, I guess, well, I guess pretty much since my birthday weekend, I was like, okay, you know, this is it. This is, I'm done feeling bad, I'm done eating bad, and I completely changed my eating habits, and I've really been focusing on that, and I really haven't been doing much else. I haven't really been doing any art. I've been keeping up with the 100-day project, working on my canvas, and that's really it. So I just really wanted to focus on this first step of how I ate first, and next I'm going to start working on adding exercise and all that. But that's a whole other different thing. But that's why I kept this, because I know that there are things in here that I will use. This is the book from when we went and saw Spamalot. There's a bunch of ads in it that have some great phrases in it. This one on the back, I really like this girl, so I'll definitely cut that out. Also from Whole Foods, this is their free magazine. I save all of these, and I have a big stack of these. This one's from 2013. It's time to go through this and let these go. But since I know that there's so many things in these that I'll use, I actually have all of these Whole Foods ones over here in a pile, and I will go through those later. I go through these a bit different because I know that there's a lot in it. So I kind of have those off to a pile on the side. I have some Thoughtfully magazines and Taproot. These all have some really pretty images in them. And I get both of these at Whole Foods too. And I have a Live Happy. So I really kind of stopped buying fashion magazines. I have a very large stack of the W magazine, which I love the most as far as images, for fashion images. I really like the edginess of a lot of the pages in there. It can be pretty revealing on some of the girls, so if that is something that you're easily offended by, I would not get that magazine, because there's, you know, there is some nudity in it, but if you can get over that and look at some of the other pages, there's some really great images in that. So I do still have those. I haven't bought any Vogue. I usually used to buy Vogue and In Style magazine, but I still have so many saved from those that I completely stopped buying those. I'm going to try to use what I have. So all of that I'm going through now are, I had a lot of Cooking Light magazines, Food and Wine. One of my friends gave me a lot of like House Beautiful and Architecture Digest magazines, so I have those. And then I've got, you know, my big stack of this here, which is mainly Martha Stewart Living and the Mary Jane's Farm. So what I do is I've got my big stack. I usually get a big stack of magazines, and it's easiest for me to just do this on the floor, so that's why we're sitting on the floor. But I have a couple of these plastic tubs that I got from Target at the Dollar Spot. It's been over a year since I got these, so they're not around anymore. They were $3 and they work great. So I've got one that I put paper in, recycle, because I recycle all the paper that I can. So any leftover bits or all these things that fall out, those go in there. And then I have a tub that I put, and this is really heavy. I should have cleaned this out first. That I put the magazines after I tear them, which is the first step. So I actually did this whole pile yesterday. And I will show you how I tear those. But what I do is I just sit on the floor, and I've got my stack of magazines that I'm going to go through and tear. I'm going to put this over there. I've got my bucket for recycle. I've got my bucket to put the torn pages in. I've got this little tray that if I'm going through something, and a lot of these came from like the cover of a magazine. If I'm pulling the cover and I see something, I might just, if I just see one word, I might just go ahead and cut that one word out. I try not to do that a lot because that takes up time and it kind of makes this whole process slower. But I even look at these because you might find words on there that you can use. But if just something that I see that I want to clip out really quick, I'll clip it out and I'll put it on this little tray. And let's see, I've got, since I have so many cooking magazines or magazines that have recipes in it, I have this box that I've got. It's Peach Box, and I put the recipes in here that I've pulled from a magazine, and if it's something that I think I might like to try, I pull it out and I throw it in here. And I usually kind of go through these later and really look at it, and I look at the ingredients a lot more closely. My son has several severe food allergies, and so if I see something that, you know, looks really great, I still have to look at the recipe, see if there's anything in it that he's allergic to, and if there is, I have to see if there's, you know, if I know that there's something that I can substitute it with, that'll work. So I have my recipe box, and that's usually it. So what I do, and I think I'm going to turn you around so that you can see better, and I'll just show you how I tear through these really quick. Okay, so what I do, and like I said, I usually like to do this on the floor, that way I can spread out. But I just grab my magazines, and I just start tearing the pages off. That's the first step. So I go through however big of a stack of magazines that I feel like going through at that time. I just go through and I tear all the pages out. And I just usually, you know, grab 3 or 4 pages, maybe 5. It just kind of depends on the magazine and how thick the pages are and things. But I just tear them off. I don't, you know, try to tear each of these off separately. Wow, that one's really stuck. Woo! I don't try to do that. I just tear these off, you know, in just a few pages at a time. And I try to leave this back glued binding as intact as I can, just because it just makes it easier. So I just grab a few pages and pull it. And this is all that I'm doing. Now as I'm doing this, if I see something, I'm not reading, you know, or anything like that, but if I see like an image, like I really like this, if I see an image that I really like, that really catches my eye, and that I think that I might want to use sometime soon, I go ahead and take that out and set it off to the side. And that way I've got it, and it doesn't get lost in this mammoth, I can't even pull it over, this mammoth tub, your big stack. So I really like this image, so I'm going to go ahead and set this off to the side. And then I've got my recycle here, just to put, you know, you have to kind of be careful when you've got the thick inserts in the middle. It might be more difficult, but I just gently tear the pages off. I'd say probably 3. 3 is a good place to start, 2 or 3 pages. Yeah, I really like that. If you try to pull more than that, it's either gonna tear or it's not gonna want to come off at all. So that's when you know you need to grab a less page. But I just sit here and pull all the pages off. As many magazines as I feel like doing. And this is really, really glued, so it's starting to rip the edge of the paper, not smoothly, so I'm trying to be as gentle as I can. If it gets really bad and you're close to the end, you can cut this off, and sometimes you can just go ahead and start yanking this off. I'm not going to mess with that right now. So, this is how I do this part. And after I pulled all the magazine, I usually try to go ahead and take this big blue piece off just because I don't like having it on there. And see, well, yeah, I was going to almost throw this away, but this says you can almost, and I know that I'll probably use that. So I just take this and I put it in my bucket. Then I go to the next magazine and start tearing. These tear a little bit easier. Martha one. And this is kind of one of those things where it's nice to, you know, have a TV show going on in the background to listen to, or, you know, have your music on, or I do admit that my knees do start getting sore if I sit here forever, so I try to, you know, get up and walk around every now and then. But yesterday, this big pile here, I actually tore all these yesterday afternoon. So this part does not take a long time at all, but I've just found it easier if I start by just ripping all the pages off of a magazine. And you could do this just one magazine at a time. You don't have to do this in, you know, in bulk like I'm doing here. But I am just really ready to get rid of these magazines, and this has been the easiest way that I have found to go through them. So then the next step that I do is, you know, I'll get my big bucket and I'll sit down and I'll just go through this one here, this Martha one that I just tore up. But the next step that I do is I go through this and quickly just kind of look at it page by page. If I see any words that stick out to me, I will set it to the side. If I see an image that sticks out, I will set it to the side. And I try to do this fast. I try not to overthink it, because if I sit here and just like look at every single word and try to read every single thing, I would be here forever, and nobody has time for that. I don't have time for that. So I try to just look at things quickly, and you know, if there's something that catches my eye, it could be colors, you know, it could be just the background, just anything. If for some reason your eye goes to that and you know, you really like that, if you think that would be an image that you would like to use on a collage in your journal, then set it to the side. So, and I also kind of try to pick out words that I think that I'll use in my journaling that aren't necessarily always easy to find. You know, it's always easy to find the and of and really common words, but with the type of the journaling that I like to do in my book, where I you know, combine words and phrases together to make sentences and, you know, to express how I'm feeling and what I'm trying to say, some of those words aren't always as easy to find. So I try to pull those words out, to go ahead and cut those words out that I see. So like right here, this says easy. So I will save that. So I will set it to the side. So I'm keeping that. If there's nothing on here that I like, it goes in the recycle bucket. And I seriously just try to look through this as quickly as I can. I think I'm going to put anything with a word on it to the side, and I will go through and cut them out later, because that will Oh, I gotta stretch out my knees, sorry. You know, it just, if I sit here and try to cut out each one right now that I'm seeing, it's gonna make this last longer. So I'm going to put my words here and anything else over here that I'm gonna wanna keep. And, you know, as I'm looking at these, I'm just kind of thinking if it's something that I would maybe want to put in my journal. Like this one is really pretty. When I first looked at it, I didn't see it, but there's actually a bench here looking over the pool. So I really like that, so I'll set that to the side. So here's some jewelry. That's kind of pretty. I'll set that. Words. Here's living. I usually try to keep things like that. Okay. Kind of like her, how she's jumping. That says beautiful. Keep that. I like the words up here. This is really cool just for the background. I like the colors on it. You know, even if you see something, sorry for the glare, just inspiration for colors or just patterns, you can save those too. You don't have to, you know, just save things to use to put on your collage pages. But this would look really neat as a background for a collage. This says more. I'll probably keep that. It says time. So I know that these are words that I usually am looking for. This says with joy and ease. The thing is, with these, that I have found, and with Martha Stewart magazines and Real Simple, there are tons of great descriptive words and phrases in them. So it's actually takes a lot longer to go through these magazines if you're looking for those types of things. I should have maybe picked out a different magazine to do this with, because I think that there might be words on every single page. This one said stop repairing. This says need to know. Those are all great phrases that you can use. I might use that for that. This is pretty, just the colors. Once again, be great for a background. This says make the season yours. Usually, when I'm doing this with other magazines, I'm able to purge out some of these pages. I might just switch over to another magazine, because this has lots of stuff on it. Let me see if I can find here. I think this is part of here. El Decor. Okay, let's go through this. Maybe I'll purge out some of these quicker. So, let's see. This says the best of on the front, so I'll probably keep that. And then here's a really cool piece of jewelry. I like keeping jewelry. It says, come home for love. Down here it says for a better world. Kind of like that hallway. So this is my keeps up here, and my recycle is over here. So it's Harmony down there. Boy, I don't know. I'm getting a lot out of this magazine too. This says make a statement. Every piece comes with a story. But I just kind of go through. Clutter causes anxiety. That's exactly why I'm trying to get rid of this stuff. 'Cause I don't like having all the clutter of all these magazines piled up anymore. It's driving me crazy. Okay. That's really cool. That'd be great for a background for a collage postcard or an ATC. You just kind of have to look at things differently. Not exactly what they're trying to show you, but kind of in a different way. Fine art of. Share your love. These are all phrases that I'm finding. Kind of like stairs. So I'm kind of drawn to those for some reason. I like these backgrounds that are pretty blank and don't have a lot of words on them because it would be very easy to cut out an image of a lady and put that on here. So I'll put those to the side. Okay, so that is the second step, is that I go through and pull out pages that I know don't have anything on them at all that I think that I will need. So then the next step that I have is I sit down with my scissors and I go through them again. So the ones that I have here that I know all have just words on them that I want. This is my stack of images. I go sit and I'll go through the pages that I know just have words on them, and I'll go through and cut them out. This says freshness above all. So since I'm, working on my fitness, as Fergie would say, anything health related that discusses things like that, I know that that is something that I might use on one of my pages. So that's just the next step, as I go through this pile and I cut out all my words and I put them on my little tray here, and I'm kind of getting ready to reorganize how I do all of that as far as how I organize my words. And then I'll go through this stack that I have and I'll separate these images. And I have categories with drawers. I've got a drawer that has jewelry in it and watches, a drawer with just people, a drawer with outside landscapes, a drawer with just like backgrounds, and let's see, and then one with insects and animals. So then I'll go through and sort through those. And that is pretty much how I go through and purge out all of my magazines. So hopefully I will. We'll see how long it takes me to do this. I try to just kind of do it in, in bits, because like I said, it's so much, and but but it seems to be a really easy way for me to knock out going through all these magazines and keeping just what I need and then recycling everything else. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, let me know, and follow me on Instagram because I usually share tons of pictures on there of what I'm doing, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.